Martha, it's Dr. Tom Smiley on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN. Always here, always local.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. So good to see all you folks out there in Radio Land. What a beautiful day. I'm looking out at the square right here on WDUN Studios, downtown Gainesville. And I know you're listening from all over the state. So I bid you all welcome. We've got a great show lined up today, but I'll be with you all week, actually, all the way till Friday, unless the old management proverbial hook comes in. But no fear. We've got the doors barricaded. We've got butcher paper on the windows. I mean, they couldn't get in here with a machine gun. So me and extraordinaire producer Brother Logan. Hello, Brother Logan.
Dream Team's back at it, Tom. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you. Good to be back. All right, well, we're going to jump in here. Come on around, kiddies, all you children. Y'all come on, get a little closer to the mic. Get a little closer. And remember what Dr. Uncle Tom promised you. If you do this very, very well, you can go next door to get you some ice cream, all on Mr. Jacobs. He'll be glad to pick up the bill. All right, so we've got Miss Brinson's class from Lakeview, kindergarten class. Girl, all right, kids, take it away.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
There you go. Excellent job. Well done. I wish I had a bell. I'd ring it. Go next door and get you an ice cream cone and discharge it to Mr. Jacobs. He'll be glad to pick it up. Speaking of management, I'm happy to see that my star on my parking sign has been replaced. Very good. Well done. Thank you, management. It took you a while to get it done, but I think I specifically requested 3 stars, not 2 on the parking place. So see if you can handle that. And I also noticed, that's right, per my doctor's instructions, a couple of oatmeal cream pies back there in the back. We had been kind of negligent on those, but management has once again stepped up. All right, well, Martha is away this week. I'll be filling in. I'm so happy that you're here. We have lots to talk about, just so very much to talk about. And I just want to, let me begin by just saying that today's word, actually this week's word, is going to be shameless. It's going to be shameless, because that's exactly how I feel about the Democratic Party and its leadership. You know what I'm talking about, the Democratic, Socialist, Communist, Marxist, woke, progressive party. Yeah, the word for the week regarding all of them is shameless. And just to let you understand, I'm not making that up. Let me let you listen to something that is utterly shameless. Now, this is the minority leader in the Senate, Chucky Schumer, right? I mean, he is so nervous about AOC primarying him, he can't even walk down the hall straight. I'd use other analogies, but this is a family show. And he is so shameless because what you're going to hear Chucky Schumer say, he knows isn't the truth. Now, that's what you listen to. Be prepared. By the way, you can give me a call, 770-535-2911, 770-535-2911. Call or text. I don't mind talking to you. I'm not going to be yelled at. Do not call me and yell at me, okay? But I'll be glad to talk to you. 770-535-2911. All right, here is shameless Chucky Schumer.
A $200 million ballroom. Where'd this money come from? Did Congress appropriate it? I don't think so. It's almost like Doge was never about waste at all.
President Trump and other donors have generously committed to donating the funds necessary to build this approximately $200 million structure.
Mr. Producer Extraordinaire, would you play just the first part, just Chucky Schumer again, because he knows the answer to this question. Shameless.
A $200 million ballroom. Where'd this money come from?
All right, that's enough. Where'd this money come from? Chucky Schumer, you have been told over and over. It's been reported over and over. It is a matter of fact. It's not taxpayer money. See, this is why I say you Democrats, You socialist, Marxist, communist Democrats. You're shameless. You wouldn't know the truth if it jumped up in your face and said boo. Chucky Schumer knows that that's not being funded by taxpayers. But he had to go to the floor of the United States Senate and give that shameless comment. You say, well, Tom, what is wrong with these Democrats? And let me say, there may be some of you ordinary citizens out there. I'm not talking about activists, pro-Palestinian, communist, socialist, Democrat supporters. I'm talking about maybe they're just some of you extraordinary, just ordinary citizens out there, and you don't understand what's happened to the Democratic Party. What's happened to the Tom? Tell me what's happened to the Democratic Party. Let me tell you what's happened to the Democratic Party, ladies and gentlemen. Are you listening? Let's write this down. They are angry. They're angry because they lost. They're angry because they're on the wrong side of every 80-20 issue. They're angry because their USA aid money has dried up. They're angry because there's a civil war going on within the Democratic Party even as we speak. They're angry. If you don't believe it from me, just listen to this.
The Democrats have accused the President Trump, of everything except abandoning his children to wolves. They daily call him a racist and a Nazi. The Democrats are angry. They're angry for two reasons. They're angry because President Trump won the election. The American people spoke. My Democratic colleagues need to just drink a big old glass of get over it and let's move on. They're mad, number two, they're mad that the American people are mad about the shutdown. It was so needless.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's John Kerry, senator from Louisiana. I love it when people prove that I'm right. Very seldom am I wrong. And if I am wrong, I will admit it. But in these cases, I am absolutely correct. The Democrats are mad. They lost the election. That's what the whole government shutdown is all about. The whole government shutdown. It's about the Democrats being mad because they lost. It's also about a war going on within the Democratic Party. There is a war going on. I don't know. I believe I know who's going to win. It's going to be the demise of your daddy's and granddaddy's Democratic Party. The Democratic Party of Bill Clinton, of John Kennedy, that party no longer exists. If you're in the party now and you're thinking that's what you need to go ahead and just call yourself an independent. Now, fortunately, in Georgia, we don't have to register as party affiliation. So at least you don't have to put that on paper. But in some states, you register party affiliation. I'd hate to register as a Democrat just to be known for what they believe. I wouldn't want to be associated with those beliefs. Do you want to be associated with the belief that men should be in women's safe spaces? Really? You want to be associated with the belief that full-term abortions are okay? If that's what the mother recommends. You want to be affiliated with that party? You want to be affiliated with a party that believes in opening and just let anyone come in unvetted? I mean, it's bad enough that everyone gets to come in, but unvetted? You want to be affiliated with the waste, the government waste and fraud? I don't know why anybody would want to put on paper their party affiliation as a Democrat. That may be a mental illness in itself. Listen, they are at war. If you don't believe me, listen to this.
Truth is, there's a quiet civil war going on in the Democratic Party right now. You have an extreme left, radical left, Bernie Sanders, AOC, Mamdani is just the banner carrier for that movement, versus the mainstream moderate Democrats. They now call me moderate. They used to call me liberal. Now I'm a moderate because the whole party shifted. And that's what this election is about. It is that civil war. I believe that far left will destroy the Democratic Party. I believe it will destroy the Democratic Party nationwide if that far left becomes dominant.
They already are dominant, Mr. Cuomo. And it's a shame. We do need a strong two-party system. I would feel much better if we had good, strong two-party system. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. All right. Well, when we come back, I'm going to tell you who we have lined up for the week. We have lots of great guests. As a matter of fact, coming in at 9:30 is your friend and my friend, know him as to love him, Dr. Douglas Young. And we're going to talk specifically about one topic for about 10 minutes or so. I've given him assignment over the weekend. I gave the professor an assignment. I expect it to be fulfilled. I'm sure it will be. And we'll talk about that when we come back. You're listening to Tom Smiley on WDUN, filling in for Martha Zoller.
In North Georgia,
It's the topics that matter to me.
we're your eyes and ears in the community with the latest breaking news.
It's the most important thing we face.
AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN. Always here, always local.
Hello, Gainesville. This is Carol with the Spa on Green Street. The holidays are quickly approaching, and we are ready for you to come in and shop in our boutique at the Spa on Green Street. We've even put together some special baskets that you can just pick up and go. So don't forget about the Spa on Green Street for your holiday needs. Who in the world at this place and time doesn't need to melt the stress away? So come see us at the spa or order your gift cards online at spaongreenstreet.com.
You wouldn't want someone you couldn't trust working on your family's HVAC and plumbing, so why would you call anyone but Gainesville Mechanical? They're your local, most trusted and award-winning HVAC and plumbing company in North Georgia. From maintenance appointments and clogged drains to plumbing emergencies and new system installations, their team is ready to serve you. And with their customer assurance maintenance plan, you can receive discounts, priority scheduling, and 24/7 no overtime rates. Gainesville Mechanical and Bryant, doing whatever it takes since 1989.
Magical Nights of Lights is back at Lanier Islands Resort. This season, let your holiday spirit shine as you drive through 6 miles of twinkling lights, from marching toy soldiers to brand new surprises like tailgating Santa and pickleball elves. Turn the magic into memories with overnight packages for the ultimate Christmas experience, featuring breakfast with Santa and elf tuck-ins that bring the wonder of the season to life. The lights are glowing, the joy is calling. It's time to celebrate at Lanier Islands Resort. Visit LanierIslands.com for reservations.
eBay has reinvented vehicle buying. From click to curb, everything's covered. Ever try to buy a car online and end up in a parking lot with a stranger and some blind trust? That era is over. Now with Secure Purchase, eBay isn't just where you find your car. It's where you buy it, start to finish. Title, financing, registration, delivery, it's all built in. This is the modern way to buy your next ride on eBay. eBay. Things people love. Secure Purchase is powered by Caramel Dealer Services, LLC, an eBay subsidiary.
This month, Pure Talk is supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat vets struggling with PTSD. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. Sure, I like the unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and you will too. But you will love being in business with a company that shares your values. Dial pound 250, say Micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, a Gainesville school has been selected to participate in a new program that brings Disney musicals to public schools. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
All right, well, welcome back to the Martha Zoller Show. Tom Smiley filling in for Martha. Now, listen to me, children. By the way, thanks for the already got text. Already got text. Hadn't even been on the air but 12 minutes and got text. 770-535-2911. Both of these are very well done, well written, and I am honored to read them. And I have some thoughts about them. One of our texters wrote about how they appreciate the stock market doing good, as do I. But this caller goes on to say, and this caller is a 9043 number. This caller goes on to say that they are worried about the fact that there are people hurting out there, financially hurting. And I believe it. I can sense it. And I'm hoping, they asked me what my thoughts were. My thoughts, I'm hoping that the tariff income and the other deregulation that's taking place and the other investments that's coming our way is going to make a difference. But let me explain something to you, ladies and gentlemen. This shutdown, it's about a bunch of whiny, crybaby losers that can't understand they lost. But there's a method to their madness. They don't want to see the economy crank up. They don't want that to happen. They do not want it. And they don't care if you suffer because of it. Hakeem Jeffries, AOC, Schuler, Warren, the whole bunch of them would rather you have pain and them gain or maintain power than for you to do well. So for those of you who are concerned, who are hurting, I'm hoping things will turn around quickly, but let me tell you, it's part of the strategy to knock you down, to weaken you. They want to weaken your resolve. You and I both know that President Trump is the best president for this economy. We know that. We know his ideas are better. We know his team is better. We know that. But my goodness, it's like water dripping on a rock. Sooner or later, it kind of wears you down. So I do appreciate the texter telling me that some people are suffering right now, and I know that many are. I know that some in our community have been laid off, and I hope that other employment can be found. But don't let them wear you down. Now speaking about the Democrats, what's interesting to me is that the Democrats are so woke, they're so socialist, they're so Marxist-minded, they don't care about you. I mean, look, like, have government grocery stores worked anywhere in the world? Has freezing rent ever done anything to improve the living conditions of people? The answer is no. And yet you have John Fetterman, the one Democrat who has some semblance of common sense, who has the courage to stand up and say, look, I'm not going to be about all this. This one Democrat who has some semblance of common sense is the Democrat that they are wanting to primary. He's a senator in a purple state. There's a Republican senator and a Democratic senator, and he recognizes there are people on both sides of the aisle in his constituency, and because of his principled views on things like Israel and the government shutdown, he's the one person they want to primary. Now, here is John Fetterman having the courage to refuse to jump in on the fray and start name-calling every Republican, fascist, Nazi, and etc. Listen to John Fetterman.
I'm the only Democrat in my family. I grew up in a conservative part of Pennsylvania, and I grew up and I know and I love people that voted for President Trump. But they are not fascists. They're not Nazis. They're not trying to destroy the Constitution and those things. And that's part of another thing. I refuse to call people Nazis or fascists, or I would never compare anybody to Hitler and those things. And now that kinds of extreme rhetoric is going to continue. We're going to be more likely in resulting in extreme kind of outcomes and political violence and doing all these kinds of things like Charlie Kirk. For me, all I could say is like, let people grieve. Give people the space. I'm not going to use that terrible thing and that Pasek assassination to make my argument and try to put out my views. It's like, my God, he's a father that had his neck blown out by a bullet. And now people have forgotten. President Trump was in my state, was shot in the head. And if that could you imagine where our nation would be if he was hit in the same way with Kirk? We really got to turn the temperature down. And we can agree to disagree on these kinds of things. But right now, shutting down the government, I just can't take it that.
This is hilarious to me. I mean, John Fetterman ought to be the face of the Democratic Party if you wanted to win. John Fetterman had the courage to say, I'm not going to call every Republican a Nazi. I'm not going to call every Republican a fascist. I'm not going to call Trump that. I'm not going to call for, warfare. Now, contrast that against Jamie Lee Curtis. What a, golly. I know it's a family show. What a ignoramus. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis came out right after Charlie Kirk's death and spoke about him in favorable terms, being a father, a husband. And it wasn't but just a few days later that she's had to come back now and retrace those steps because people in her affiliation didn't like her saying anything pleasant about Charlie Kirk. So she had such a lack of moral conviction and standing that she backtracked. And now she's saying, well, I really don't like him. He's really this, he's really that, blah, blah, et cetera, et cetera. What a doofus. What a lack of moral courage. Moral courage. John Fetterman, the one guy in the Democratic Party that has some semblance of moral courage, is the one guy they're trying to primary. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm Tom Smiley filling in for Martha. Dr. Douglas Young going to join us in a moment. Stay tuned.
At Onward Reserve, their motto is live authentically. Every shirt, every store, every story is inspired by real moments. On the golf course, in the field, out on the lake, or gathering with friends after a long day. Discover clothing, footwear, accessories, and game day attire, all designed for making memories with the people and places you love. Visit Onward Reserve on the Gainesville Square next to WDUN. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 till 7, Sundays 12 till 5. Onward Reserve. Live authentically.
Have you ever been at your wit's end over your community? Hi, this is Whit Martin, pastor of Asbury Chapel. There are plenty of ups and downs in a community. But as God's people, we have a command in Jeremiah 29:7 that tells us to seek the peace and prosperity of the city, to pray to God for it, because if the city prospers, then the people will prosper. I want to encourage us today to truly look for ways to be a blessing to the community. The best way is to offer the truth of Jesus Christ to any and all, so that the change He brings can transform the place we live into a place that reflects the kingdom of God. Many of us know the Lord's Prayer, praying, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." If our prayers and our efforts are aimed at God's kingdom making a difference here, what goodness and grace there can be for us all. And that is Wit's End. Asbury Chapel invites you to learn more by joining us for worship on Sundays at 10 a.m. Visit asburychapel.net for more information.
Want the latest rumor? Check social media.
Social media plays a big role in today's society.
Want to know if it's true? Log on to accesswdun.com. We focus on the facts and leave the fiction to the others.
It's trustworthy and reliable.
Online news powered by North Georgia's News Talk. WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 9:30. News. I'm Therese Crowley. President Trump returns to CBS 60 Minutes under new ownership since he sued the network alleging deceptive editing, urging Senate Democrats on this government shutdown day 34.
All we're saying, give us an extension. We'll work it out. They've lost their way. They've become crazed lunatics. And all they have to do, Nora, is say, let's vote.
And we'll talk about the Obamacare subsidies. Former President Obama called in as the Democrats' closer in governor's elections in Virginia and New Jersey.
There is absolutely no evidence that Republican policies have made life better for the people in New Jersey.
But local issues like green energy, rate hikes, and boys and girls sports and bathrooms are driving local voters. Treasury Secretary Bessent says SNAP food benefits could restart as soon as Wednesday. America is listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow, and 2 people are dead following an apparent murder-suicide Saturday in Flowery Branch. More from WDUN's Brian Perkle.
Hall County deputies were called to a home on Bushnell Court just after 3 p.m. Saturday to find a 50-year-old woman dead with multiple gunshot wounds. They also found a 51-year-old man dead in a different part of the home. According to the initial investigation, the man shot and killed the woman, then turned the gun on himself. A 9-year-old child was inside the home at the time of the shooting, but was physically unharmed.
And high school seniors now can apply for educational institutions for free in November through Georgia. GNN's Rebecca Hughes with more.
The Georgia Student Finance Commission has partnered with various educational institutions in Georgia to offer application fee waivers to high school seniors during Apply to College Month in November. Over 60 colleges and universities in Georgia are participating in the initiative, allowing students to apply for multiple schools without incurring application fees. Governor Kemp says the state is committed to providing quality education opportunities for Georgia students. Students can access the application fee waivers through the Georgia Match Direct Admissions dashboard and find more information on participating schools at gafutures.org.
And there's more news online at Access WDUN. Now here's your Access WDUN weather forecast.
Good Monday morning, North Georgia. Mostly sunny skies. What a way to kick off the new week. We're in the middle 60s for highs this afternoon. Mostly clear skies right on into the evening. 42 the low tomorrow morning. From the Access WDUN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
In Lawrenceville and Talmo, 47 degrees. In Gainesville, 46. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
It's Mike Robertson of Oakwood Tire and More. As our name suggests, we can handle all your tire needs, but some have asked what we mean when we say and more. At Oakwood Tire, we're more than just tires. We also handle general repair. We handle alignments, brakes, AC service, suspension work. Speaking of suspension work, if you're looking to upgrade your ride, we can put tires, wheels, lift kit, anything like that on there. See us at www.oakwoodtire.com. Stop by at 3120 Atlanta Highway, where we're more than just tires.
Are your fall projects piling up? Let's stay ahead of every cleanup job with the power and dependability of Steel Power Equipment. From blowers that clear your yard in no time to chainsaws and trimmers that make fall work easy, Steel has the tools built to last season after season. And when you're ready to gear up, head to Howard Brothers, your trusted Steel dealer. Their team will help you find exactly what you need to make fall jobs feel effortless. The grass is always greener when you take care of it with Steel and Howard Brothers.
Use the Access WDUN Talk and Text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
I'm so happy to get the text that I do receive. And by the way, I always say, 770-535-2911. And if it's worthy, I shall read it. But it has to be worthy. I can't read unworthy text over the air. I mean, that would be terrible. So I did get a very worthy text. And this is from Lisa. Thank you, Lisa, in Gainesville, who said, very nice listening to you today. You make me laugh, and you're super smart. Now, I like that. That is worthy. Put that in the extra worthy file, extraordinary producer, so we'll have it for future reference.
I will tuck it away.
All right. Well, look, we're going to take a segment because I want to lay something to bed, just once and for all, because I've had it. I played earlier the Chucky Schumer comment about where's the money coming from? Why do we? And he knows there's no money being spent from the taxpayer coffers on the White House ballroom. He knows that. He knew it before he said it. So I've asked our beloved professor emeritus, Dr. Douglas Young. I called him last week and I said, I'm giving you an assignment, professor. That was, you know what? I felt so good giving a professor an assignment. And I may even grade him on this today, because Lord knows I've been graded. But we have in the studio today Dr. Douglas Young, my friend. I say affectionately, to know him is to love him. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me back. It is always an honor and a joy to be here.
Well, we have lots to talk about today, and we have a couple of things to plug that you don't want to miss. Some really interesting community event, an interesting community event you don't want to miss. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll plug that today and also Friday when he comes back. But right now, I want to put to bed this ridiculous comparison between what Trump is doing and what other presidents have done. It's as if no one has done anything else to the White House since it was first constructed. That's what they want you to believe. It's ridiculous. So I'm going to play this opening audio that kind of sets the stage, and then I'm going to ask Dr. Young to just give us a brief historical walkthrough of what other presidents have done and compare that to what Trump is doing. So listen to this first, and then we'll have Dr. Young's opinion.
Years, decades, maybe over a century, people have complained that the world's superpower has nowhere at the White House to entertain people. And usually tents are constructed when there's diplomatic or state dinners or there's festivities. Donald Trump, the builder, comes along in his second term and says, you know what, I'm going to solve the problem. I'm going to refashion the east wing of the White House complex and build a beautiful 90,000 square foot ballroom. But people were outraged. Gavin Newsom was one of the most severe critics, but if you look at the California historic state capitol, it's been demolished almost. The whole side of it has been gutted. Democratic supermajorities in California voted that they wanted to spend not $200 million, not $300 million, not $400 million, not $800 million, not $1 billion, but $1.6 billion from the taxpayers who are facing a $20 to $30 billion deficit. And that wound makes the White House wound look small in comparison.
That's exactly right. All right. That was Victor Hanson Davis, who I really do appreciate. Dr. Young, give us a brief walkthrough on how ridiculous is this commotion about Trump's doing something really dastardly?
History shows that there have been many, many major renovations of the U.S. White House and by presidents of both parties. The first major renovation was way back in 1814, soon after the British burned the White House. All that was left were the outside walls, so the whole structure had to basically be rebuilt. And that's when the White House got its name, the White House, because the outer walls were painted white. Then in the early 20th century, Republican President Teddy Roosevelt launched a major renovation of the White House by adding what would be the huge West Wing. And then his immediate successor, President William Howard Taft, he further expanded the West Wing. He also was Republican. And then under President Franklin Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt's fifth cousin, but President Franklin Roosevelt was, of course, a Democrat. Under President Franklin Roosevelt, the West Wing was expanded even further, and Franklin Roosevelt built an indoor swimming pool because he had polio meningitis, and of course he had a home built at Warm Springs, Georgia, to take advantage of the warm springs. They had some recuperative qualities for him. President Franklin Roosevelt also created what came to be known as the Oval Office for the president. And President Franklin Roosevelt built a bunker during World War II for himself and his staff in case there had been a Nazi German or fascist Japanese bombing of the White House. And over this bunker, President Franklin Roosevelt also constructed the large new East Wing of the White House. Then his successor, Democratic President Harry Truman, presided over maybe the biggest White House renovation of all. The White House had gotten in such bad shape that at one point during the Truman presidency, when his daughter Margaret was playing the piano, one of the piano legs actually fell through the floor. and this was when there were so many ghost stories about the White House, because it was literally falling apart, and people in the White House would hear constant creaks and moans, and the building was just sagging. So from 1948 to 1952, the entire White House was gutted. There is virtually nothing in the White House today other than furnishings that dates before 1952. In fact, for half or a majority of the Truman presidency, the Trumans had to live across the street in Blair House. And so the entire White House was renovated. Truman also added a bowling alley. Well, President Kennedy had a renovation as well. Now, to be fair, his renovation, like President Trump's, was entirely privately funded.
Oh, okay. That's the only one you know of, though.
The only one other than Trump's that I'm aware of
the ones you've mentioned.
That was privately funded. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And then President Nixon, a Republican, of course, Kennedy was a Democrat and Nixon was a Republican. Under President Nixon, he added to the bowling alley that had been begun by Truman. President Nixon also got rid of the indoor swimming pool that Franklin Roosevelt had installed, and President Nixon replaced it with the White House briefing room or press room. Mm-hmm. And President Ford, he built an outdoor swimming pool. President Carter put solar panels on the White House roof. President Reagan got rid of those solar panels in the 1980s. President Barack Obama added a basketball court. So there have been, and of course, Ford was a Republican, Carter was a Democrat, Reagan was a Republican, Obama was a Democrat, is a Democrat. So again, presidents of both parties, many presidents of both parties have presided over many major and minor renovations, and
mostly at the expense of the taxpayer.
Right. The only exceptions are Democratic President Jack Kennedy's renovation and Republican President Donald Trump. Also, if I could say one more thing briefly before I forget, it is so humiliating, Tom, that when the president holds a state dinner, we don't have a large enough ballroom for that. And so we have to pitch a tent on the White House lawn. And imagine this. If President Trump holds a state dinner for His Majesty King Charles of the British Empire, if His Majesty has to go to the bathroom during that occasion, he has to use an outdoor porta potty. This is humiliating for the most powerful man in the world to ask his guests, well, you need to use this porta potty.
I know. I agree. Now, so having said all that, now, ladies and gentlemen, that's not Republican talking points. That's not conservative talking. That's historical fact. Dr. Douglas Young, Professor Emeritus, all right? He wouldn't lead you wrong. So, Dr. Young, having said all of that and knowing what you know about the cost being mainly borne by taxpayers, how ridiculous and shameless is it for Chucky Schumer to get on the Senate floor and make this comment?
A $200 million ballroom. Where'd this money come from? Did Congress appropriate it? I don't think so. It's almost like Doge was never about waste at all.
He knew, Doug, he knew that before he said it.
I would be shocked if he did not know from all the press reports.
Oh, you're kinder than I am. You're a very kind man.
He's an exceptionally smart guy. I think Senator Schumer actually made a perfect 1600 on the SAT. I mean, he's a very smart guy. So, of course, he knew that this was privately funded. And in fact,
but I understand he's had to give half of that to AOC. He's had to give half of his points to AOC. So I just want to mention that.
Not only is the Trump renovation And the Trump renovation is taking place in the East Wing, all right? He's tearing down the East Wing to put up the ballroom. The East Wing is nowhere remotely as big as the West Wing. And of the private funding for Trump's renovation, a lot of that is coming out of his personal pocket.
Now, not to be, inappropriate, but other than Chucky Schumer, the other person who has the least credibility to speak about this is Hillary Clinton, considering what her husband, how he degraded the White House through his inappropriate actions.
That's right. And any criticisms from Gavin Newsom are ridiculous, considering the fact that $1.6 billion of California taxpayers' money is being spent to renovate the state capitol. I haven't heard or read of him criticizing that. And I guarantee you, every subsequent Republican and Democratic president is going to take full advantage of this ballroom. And in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, virtually nobody is going to remember the present controversy. And the fact is, just about all previous renovations of the White House have been controversial as well. But how many people even remember any of the controversies?
What about Swalwell's comment that every Democrat candidate on the platform should immediately destroy the ballroom day one in office? Now, is that another 80-20 issue there on the wrong side of?
I think it's absurd. And my guess is no one will even mention this in 2028. I would be stunned if Democrats are going to be asked at a debate, a show of hands, how many of you are going to tear down the ballroom? That would be an absurd waste of taxpayer money.
Yeah. It's just shameless. That's the word for the day. The Democratic, Progressive, Marxist, Socialist, Woke Party. The word for you today is shameless. All right, well, there you go. I will let you know what your grade is on your assignment. I've been taking notes here. I'm gonna be fair, as I've been treated fairly in the past by many professors. But well done. Well, we'll take a quick break, and then Dr. Young's going to stay with me for the rest of our show. And we got so much to talk about. I'd just love to get his opinion. And we're also going to put a couple of shameless plugs in for something that he and I are going to be a part of this coming Friday. So don't miss that. We'll be right back. You're listening to Tom Smiley on The Martha Zoller Show.
On the next edition of the Martha Zoller Show, I'll be off, and Tom Smiley is going to be filling in for me. He's got a great show planned for you, and you'll be talking about the issues of the day. Join us at 9 on North Georgia's News Talk, WDUN.
I've been thinking a lot lately about the word contentment. I see a lot of people who are trying to find contentment. God's Word has a lot to say about contentment. Psalm 17:15 says, "But for me, my contentment is not in wealth, but it is in seeing you and knowing all is well between us. And when I awake in heaven, I will be fully satisfied, for I will see you face to face." True contentment comes from knowing Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior. John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believed in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life." This is Mike Martin from Milton Martin Toyota, the oldest Toyota dealership in Georgia. Visit us at miltonmartintoyota.com or exit 17 off 985. We're ready to serve you.
Should you make your trust the beneficiary of your IRA? So many say you shouldn't, but we say you should. This is Kevin Tharp, elder law and estate planning attorney, and if you want your IRA to be protected for your surviving spouse, children, or family, then you should leave it to them at your death through a trust. For more information, go to my website, kevintharp.com.
This fall, give your lawn and food plots the winning edge with Limelight Pro. Now at Farmers Exchange in Cleveland. Limelight Pro is a premium, fast-acting pelletized lime that helps balance soil pH, unlock nutrients, and boost plant growth. Easy to spread, quick to work, and perfect for a fall application. Whether growing grass, gardens, or game plots, get the results you want with Limelight Pro. Farmers Exchange, your hometown partner for a stronger, greener season.
As a mom and lifelong resident of Hall County, I'm voting yes to renew SPLOST on November 4th. SPLOST funds many things my family uses every day. The parks and fields where my kids play, the roads I drive on, and the fire stations, police vehicles, and EMS equipment that keeps us safe. SPLOST lets us plan for the future, my kids' future, funding what matters most without passing the cost onto residents like you and me. Just 1% of every purchase makes a big difference for our community. Vote yes to renew SPLOST on November 4th. Paid for by Hall Progress 2025.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, Jackson EMC announcing Thursday it's investing $90,000 to support 3 food assistance organizations. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical, from the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
You know what I find interesting, ladies and gentlemen? I really find interesting the fact that since USA aid got, revealed for its cheating and fraud, how broke the Democratic Party is. I mean, it's very obvious now that USA aid was funneling money back to the Democratic Party. See, all these ridiculous things they were doing, like $1 million here and $1 million there to study, $1 million to study the sex habits of shrimp. Okay, so they send that $1 million off to some think tank to study the sex habits of shrimp. And then that think tank sends back about $800,000 back to the Democratic Party for their coffers. That was going on all over the place.
It's legal money laundering.
It's legal money laundering, and we know that was happening to a T. And it's just fascinating to me that since that's been revealed, they've been broke.
I think that the Democratic Party leaders have become so leftist. Especially, they have become what a lot of people call boutique liberals. They are so affluent. They're living in big cities, and their lifestyles are vastly different from those of most Americans. And so they seem to be obsessed, particularly the donor class of the Democratic Party now, seems to be obsessed with transgenderism, wanting surgery and hormone treatments done even on young children, and boys and men to compete in girls' sports. These are things that are just utterly alien to the vast majority of Americans, but the Democratic Party will not say no to these folks because that is their donor class that's demanding that. And I think that when USAID got exposed for some of the ridiculous funding operations that it was conducting, I think that embarrassed a lot of Democrats. They don't want the public. The last thing in the world a lot of Democrats in Congress want is for the people to have any idea as to how their money, tax money, is actually being spent.
And I think one thing you said just a moment ago, I hope that those of you who are listening picked up on that. By the way, 770-535-2911. I'm Tom Smiley, filling in for Martha. This is Dr. Douglas Young, Professor Emeritus, my friend. We're just walking through history, talking about modern-day contemporary issues and topics. I love his analysis. I think you do too. But I hope that you heard something he said. You said earlier that many of these Chucky Schumers, AOC, Bernie's, they all bet on the fact that the average American won't remember or won't know the facts.
Right. And it's an indictment of our public school system in this country. We have some really fine public schools and a lot of wonderful public school teachers, but we have a great many public schools that are just disasters. I mean, there are too many public school teachers and private school teachers too who are woke leftists, who are indoctrinating people rather than teaching people how to think critically. They instead want to indoctrinate them. And we're doing a terrible job of teaching history and politics, political science, government. Social studies is the academic ghetto of American middle and high schools. I mean, to teach social studies, so often we have a PE coach with a free period who may have never even may have never even minored in history or government. Now, we would never dream of having someone teach English or math without a degree in English or math. Oh, but we just assume anybody can teach social studies, anybody can teach civics, anybody can teach government. And how many schools even offer an economics course at the high school level? Mm-hmm. I'm convinced that so many politicians, man, the last course they want any American students to learn is to take is an economics class. Because, I mean, it is insane that we now are over $37 trillion in debt. Our federal government is now spending over $1 trillion more each year than it's taking in taxes. I mean, this is economic insanity. If the American people were properly educated, if they were required to take a good economics course in high school, I think a lot more American voters would demand fiscal responsibility. I mean, every American family has to balance its budget. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Every small business owner has to balance his budget. But Congress almost never balances its budget. The last time we had a Congress balance the federal budget was 30 years ago. It was during the Clinton administration.
I know that what you say about social science is so studies are so true. I had one of my 7 grandchildren ask me last year. He was called upon to do a project on the Second Amendment by his teacher.
Okay.
And the premise of the teacher to my grandson was rewrite the Second Amendment, and take out what's wrong with it. And I'm thinking, well, so when my grandson came to me and said, "Pop, I know you know a lot about guns and stuff. Help me rewrite the Second Amendment." I said, why would we rewrite the Second Amendment? Who's telling you to rewrite the Second Amendment? And so, Dr. Young, I asked him, why would the professor or the teacher say, talk about the Second Amendment?
Sure.
Describe the Second Amendment.
Let's discuss it.
Discuss the Second Amendment. Well, we're going to talk more to Dr. Douglas Young when we get back. Hey, lots of good conversation. I don't want you to miss any of it, so stay tuned. You're listening to Tom Smiley on The Martha Zoller Show.
Friends, we need your help. As I'm sure you've heard, SNAP benefits, the lifeline for thousands of seniors, children, and disabled individuals, won't be deposited this November. Georgia Mountain Food Bank and our pantry partners are bracing for a surge in emergency need, but we can't do it alone. Our shelves are low, and your gift will go straight to feeding neighbors in crisis. Thanks to Cook Law Group, your donation can be doubled up to $25,000. Visit gmfb.org today. Together, we can keep our community fed.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it! Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take DayQuil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the DayQuil.
Undo your flu symptoms with DayQuil Intense Flu. DayQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
DayQuil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu, medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 10 o'clock.
Obama takes on Trump. I'm Therese Crowley, Fox News. Democrats looking to turn two states' governor's elections into a referendum on President Trump. Former President Obama on the campaign trail in New Jersey and Virginia, blaming the chaos from Washington on President Trump. And in the New York City mayor's race, President Trump tells CBS 60 Minutes that if it's a choice between a bad Democrat and a communist, I'm going to pick the bad Democrat all the time. That would be Cuomo versus Mamdani.
Voters in New Jersey and Virginia elect new governors on Tuesday, two races that have attracted National Party leaders to the campaign trail. Fox News polling last week shows Democrats in both races leading their Republican opponents. The economy, immigration, energy cost, and health care are dominant issues. New York City residents are also electing a new mayor in a race that has energized progressives. 34-year-old Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani holds a commanding double-digit lead in polling against former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who failed to win the Democratic nomination in this year's primary election.
Another weekend U.S. military strike on a narco-terror drug boat. Fox's Alexandria Hoff.
Trump administration's position is that cartel strikes do not fall under the War Powers Resolution because troops are not being sent into hostilities. Within the resolution, hostilities is kind of vague. It's been interpreted differently in the past, but the action, it did kill 3 men who Secretary Hegseth described as narco-terrorists carrying illicit drugs to the U.S. He added a promise in his post. The department will treat them exactly how we treated al-Qaeda. We will continue to track them, map them, hunt them, and kill them.
And the Supreme Court hears oral arguments Wednesday on whether President Trump had the power to impose sweeping global tariffs. President Trump tells reporters,
economic health is also part of national security, by the way, but without tariffs, our country would be in great jeopardy.
America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow, and 2 people are dead following an apparent murder-suicide in Flowery Branch. WDUN's Brian Perkle reports.
Hall County deputies were called to a home on Bushnell Court just after 3 p.m. Saturday to find a 50-year-old woman dead with multiple gunshot wounds. They also found a 51-year-old man dead in a different part of the home. According to the initial investigation, the man shot and killed the woman, then turned the gun on himself. A 9-year-old child was inside the home at the time of the shooting, but was physically unharmed. The names of the 2 are being withheld until next of kin can be notified.
A judge is going to decide whether or not charges can be filed in a state capitol tussle. It was earlier this year when a separate judge found no probable cause for a warrant to be issued in the arrest of General Counsel Keith Williams, who grabbed and pushed State Senator Colton Moore to the ground when he tried and entered the chamber earlier this year. Now, Moore is awaiting a decision on the appeal from a judge after appearing in court last week. High school seniors now in Georgia can apply for educational institutions for free in November. GNN's Rebecca Hughes explains.
The Georgia Student Finance Commission has partnered with various educational institutions in Georgia to offer application fee waivers to high school seniors during Apply to College Month in November. Over 60 colleges and universities in Georgia are participating in the initiative, allowing students to apply for multiple schools without incurring application fees. Governor Kemp says the state is committed to providing quality education opportunities for Georgia students. Students can access the application fee waivers through the Georgia Match Direct Admissions dashboard and find more information on participating schools at gafutures.org.
And a Gainesville City school has been selected to participate in a new program that's aimed at bringing Disney musicals to public schools. More from WDUN's Lawson Smith.
Fair Street International Academy was selected as one of over 70 elementary schools in the country to participate in the launch of a new online musical training program for teachers. Stage Connect is an expansion of the Disney Musicals in Schools program. The experience is free and aims to equip teachers with the resources to produce a Disney Kids musical.
You can find more details and more news by going online at Access WDUN. Now here's your Access WDUN weather forecast.
Good Monday morning, North Georgia. Mostly sunny skies. What a way to kick off the new week. We're in the middle 60s for highs this afternoon. Mostly clear skies right on into the evening. 42 the low tomorrow morning. From the Access WDUN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
Right now in Winder, 48 degrees. Claremont reporting 46, and in Gainesville, 47. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Rise and shine with M&R Equipment and Rental. Your project success is our first job of the day.
Whether it's landscaping, construction, or home renovation, we've got your back with our wide range of high-quality tools and equipment. We make starting your day easy. Simply pick your tool, choose your rental period, and get down to business. No job is too big or small. From saws to skid steers, we've got you covered and at prices that won't break your budget. Visit us at mnrrental.com. We're here to help you build a brighter tomorrow.
This is Mike Cormier, General Manager at Hardy Chevrolet. Some folks think that the automobile business is just about selling cars. At Hardy, we know it's more than just that. For us, it's about helping that young driver with their first car and helping that growing family that needs a bigger car. It's about relationships. It's about family. Drop by for a visit and you'll understand what Charles Hardy always said.
We love you and we need you.
Together, let's drive. At Hardy Chevrolet, Browns Bridge Road in Gainesville, online at hardychevrolet.com.
From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show. Talking the issues and filling in for Martha, it's Dr. Tom Smiley on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN. Always here, always local.
All right. Well, welcome back, sports fans. So glad to have you listening today on the Martha Zoller Show. I am Tom Smiley filling in for Martha today. And actually this week, and today we have Dr. Douglas Young, my friend. We're just kind of talking about some historical stuff. We're talking about some contemporary issues, and I'm really excited about having Dr. Young with me in the studio. All right, before we do something about another topic, I want to just give a brief plug to a couple of things that we're going to be a part of Friday. So why don't you take the lead and invite whoever you want to invite and give the details and explain what we'll be doing Friday here in our community.
Thank you so much. The Longstreet Society hosts a seminar every year, the Longstreet Seminar, and it's an event when we bring together admirers of the great Confederate General James Longstreet, who was also a heroic civil rights figure after the war between the states. He was by far the most prominent former Confederate to come out fully in favor of full civil rights for all the former slaves, including equal voting rights for all black men. That went way beyond even anything Lincoln wanted. And this year, for the first time in 5 years, we're holding our annual Longstreet Weekend Seminar here in Gainesville. And it'll be this coming weekend, November 7th through the 9th. And we've got several guest speakers, 4 guest speakers, in fact, who are going to be discussing different aspects of General Longstreet's life. We also are going to show off the newly renovated James Longstreet Museum at the Piedmont Hotel at 827 Maple Street, just a few blocks from the downtown square here in Gainesville. The renovation is just stupendous. I mean, the museum has always been great, but now it's more beautiful than ever. It looks like it did in the late 19th century when it was a grand Victorian hotel owned by General Longstreet. And on Saturday, November the 8th, we're going to take an all-day tour, bus tour of all the Longstreet sites in Gainesville. And for anyone who would like to register to be a participant in this seminar, all you need to do is just go to www.longstreetsociety.org. www.longstreetsociety.org, O-R-G, and just scroll down a little bit to the blue bar which says more information on the seminar, and you can register for the seminar. We would love for you to join us. We're going to have catered meals provided by the Alpha Euro Grill and the Longstreet Cafe. And we are thrilled.
Oh, watch out. Here it comes, ladies and gentlemen. Here it comes.
None other than the Reverend Dr. Thomas Smiley as our first speaker this Friday at 6 p.m. for our welcome dinner. We're going to be kicking off the seminar in the old, renovated, beautiful City Hall at the end of Roosevelt Square, just off from the downtown square. And I believe you're going to be sharing with us your research about the fascinating and inspiring spiritual journey
it's very
of General
interesting.
Longstreet.
Yeah. One thing about General Longstreet, I just want to say this. back during the tearing down the statues and renaming the forts and all that stuff that was going on, all that woke stuff.
So sad.
I was afraid that Longstreet was going to get swept up into that, General Longstreet. But that really shows your ignorance. If you would be in favor of tearing down remembrances and statues of James Longstreet, General James Longstreet, that would really be ignorance, because from what I know about him and what I've heard you talk about him, he was far beyond his time in being certainly not a racist by any stretch of the imagination.
Exactly. I mean, he was about a century ahead of his time on race. It was precisely because he was so far ahead of his time regarding civil rights that there were no statues erected of General Longstreet anywhere until 1998 at Gettysburg. Yeah. And then I think in 2002 in Gainesville. A statue was erected in the Longstreet Hills neighborhood on the site where his first home burned in 1889.
He really was, you could say, a Renaissance man.
That's right. And he never owned a slave, unlike Union General Ulysses Grant. Mm-hmm. And General Longstreet opposed secession, but yet he still could not stand by idly as armies were poised for a massive, brutal, and utterly unconstitutional invasion of Dixie, and he certainly could not participate in such an unconstitutional affair.
Well, we're gonna have a good time Friday, so look it up. What's the website?
www.longstreetsociety.org, O-R-G.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and I just want to get that plug in. And while we're plugging, let me just plug Dr. Douglas Young's books. Just go to the website, type in Dr. Douglas Young. It'll pop up. You'll see it.
Oh, thank you.
Several books, fiction. And,
yes, sir.
And just some good historical stuff, some good issues-oriented stuff. I have 3 of your mini books. Enjoyed them all.
Oh, many thanks.
Just go and Google Dr. Douglas Young, and you'll find him and get a couple of his books. You'll enjoy them. Great reading. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, did any of you watch any of the J.D. Vance Turning Point USA presentation? Anybody out there? Yeah, okay, I see that hand. Okay, very good. I want to share with you a couple of sound bites of what the Vice President of the United States said in the context of that meeting, and get some of Dr. Young's historical-related analysis about, have we ever had politicians speak that bravely and speak that boldly of their faith and their convictions and et cetera? And could Joe Biden have stood up on a platform for an hour without notes, taking questions from students that he had no idea what they were about to ask? I think you know the answer to that question, as do I. But I want to talk about J.D. Vance and some of the things he said at Turning Point USA. You'll find it fascinating if you missed it, okay? So stay tuned. I'm Tom Smiley, filling in for Martha Zoller.
Fuel our discussions with your opinions.
We need to talk about common sense here.
We're the station that gives you a voice.
It's my local station.
We're North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
There's nothing quite like a local neighbor. That's why AARP is local, right here in Midtown Atlanta, to offer you free events and enriching experiences that help you with finances, family, and fun. We are in the community, connecting you to what matters most right when you need it. Visit our website at aarp.org/GA or visit us on social media at AARP Georgia to find out more information on how we're helping your money, health, and happiness live as long as you do.
It doesn't matter if you're a homeowner or running a business, waste happens. Your go-to to make it go away? Waste Eliminator. They offer collection, disposal, recycling, and environmental services for business and home cleanout. Visit wasteeliminator.com. Click Order Dumpster, and before you know it, your dumpster is reporting for duty. Yep, it's that easy. Environmentally responsible and committed to customer service. It's Waste Eliminator. See them today at wasteeliminator.com.
November means cool mornings, falling leaves, and lawns that still need the perfect finish before the holidays start. Make it easy with an X-Mark from Howard Brothers, the mower built to perform when it matters most. From homeowners to pros, X-Mark delivers comfort, speed, and precision that keeps your yard looking sharp all year long. Don't let fall slow you down. Head over to Howard Brothers and power through the work with an Exmark on your side. The grass is always greener when you take care of it with Exmark and Howard Brothers.
Are you a veteran? Was your spouse a veteran? The VA might have some money for you. Hi, I'm Haley Brock, one of the attorneys at Kimbrough Law. The VA pension aid and attendance benefit can pay more than $32,000 a year. That's every year, tax-free. Most people have no idea that the VA pension aid and attendance benefit even exists. As a result, millions of veterans are missing out on extra money each month. I don't want you to be one of them. And it's not just that veterans don't know about this benefit. There are misconceptions about VA benefits that could be keeping you from getting money you've earned, money you deserve. If you're over 65 and you were in the service during a wartime period, or if you're married to someone who served during a wartime period, call Kimbrough Law. We will see if you qualify, and if you do, we'll help you apply. For more information, call 706-850-6910 or go to kimbroughlaw.net. That's 706-850-6910 or kimbrohlaw.net.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet newsroom, 2 people are found dead from an apparent murder-suicide shooting at a Flowery Branch home Saturday. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
Use the Access WDUN talk and text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Welcome back to the Martha Zoller Show. I am Tom Smiley. I've got Dr. Douglas Young with me today, and I've got to do this real quick. Dr. Young, I made a mistake. As I said earlier, I usually don't make many mistakes, but when I do, I don't mind admitting them. And I have to admit I made a mistake. Let me see. Where's my text? I got a text from a friend, and he said, "Hey, Tom, earlier you said Hanson Davis. His middle name is Davis. Is Victor Davis Hanson." So thank you, Rudy. Once again, as you would often, help me out with my sermons, correcting them from time to time. You did a good job here. It's a good catch. So the take we had earlier about the White House renovations was Victor Davis Hanson. Very well done, Mr. Rudy. And another text from one of our listeners. Dr. Young, we're hearing a lot about the SNAP program going broke and so forth. And this listener, is a 8890 number, said that they had an aunt. He had an elderly aunt with severe arthritis, and because of people abusing the system, she lost some of her benefits and some of her pain medication benefits and all that kind of stuff. And he's just equating that to the fact that maybe a SNAP review would also be helpful. That maybe there's some abuse going on there that could be adjusted. And I'm sure there's abuse everywhere.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there are, I believe, 42 million Americans receiving SNAP benefits, and I'm sure a number of them are genuinely needy. But there is a massive amount of waste and fraud and abuse throughout the federal government.
Yeah. If you want to look at if you want to see what a real professor emeritus looks like, you can go to YouTube. Just go to YouTube, and then in the search bar, put in Logan. Is it Access WDUN?
Yep, you can type in Access WDUN. You'll see our channel along with both of our all of our live shows we do here, or you can just type in the Martha Zoller Show, and I'm sure all of our the shows we'll be doing. Of course, the live one we got right now, and the ones we've had in the past month or two, and you can find us over there and go check out and stream all of our great content over on our YouTube channel and on Facebook as too, of course.
And there you go. So that is what a professor emeritus looks like.
I should have worn my suit and tie.
When my son had his best friend who is an Anglican come and do his ordination sermon when my son was ordained. So Timmy came in and I was still the pastor at the time, and I said, "Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want all of you Baptists to look real careful. This is what an Anglican looks like." My friend, my third son, Tim. All right, did you happen to catch any of J.D. Vance's Turning Point?
I'm sorry, I don't think I did.
He had a great great night with Turning Point. He stood there and he answered question after question after question. I just have a couple of takes. I wanted you to hear them and get your input. Here's one.
Pushing out policies that hurt us, and these policies are not even solving the problems. These policies are just creating chaos.
Ma'am. Okay, so again, I'm gonna finish answering the question, and then if I've answered all 9 of your questions in less than 15 minutes, then we can keep on going. We got to have a little fun, right? So here's the thing. I can believe that the United States should lower its levels of immigration in the future, while also respecting that there are people who have come here through lawful immigration pathways that have contributed to the country. But just because one person or 10 people or 100 people came in legally and contributed to the United States of America, does that mean that we're thereby committed to let in 1 million or 10 million or 100 million people a year in the future? No, that's not right. We cannot have, I'll go and finish. We cannot have an immigration policy where what was good for the country 50 or 60 years ago binds the country inevitably for the future. There's too many people who want to come to the United States of America, and my job as vice president is not to look out for the interests of the whole world. It's to look out for the people of the United States.
Okay, so Dr. Young, J.D. Vance was answering a question from one of the students who was concerned about immigration, and from what I could gather, the number that we are willing to let in.
Right.
And she really wanted the vice president to come out in favor of just, innumerable entrants.
Right.
Just whosoever will. And you heard his answer.
Right.
You have a history, background of immigration policy. What is your take on that? Can we let everyone in, or are we supposed to be selective? Should we be selective?
The Founding Fathers wanted us to be very selective. And for so much of our history, we were. Traditionally, really until the Immigration Reform Act of 1965, pushed by President Lyndon Johnson and U.S. Senator Ted Kennedy, to enter this country, particularly from the late 1920s, after a number of immigration reform laws in 1917, 1921, 1925, 1929, from 1929 to 1965, we only allowed 150,000 immigrants to immigrate into America each year. And to immigrate here legally, you had to prove that you were not going to be on welfare, you were not going to be taking money from the American taxpayers, but you spoke English, you were from a country that had a similar culture, similar political system to ours. You were going to contribute to our economy. You were going to work. You were going to pay taxes.
And when was that now?
This was from 1929 to 1965.
Wow.
We only allowed 150,000 immigrants a year into this country, and we had very strict requirements. Then, in 1965, we opened the floodgates. With the Immigration Reform Act of 1965, we now allowed 1 million immigrants to move to this country each year. And no longer did we require English, did we require that people show that they're going to be able to have a job, that they're going to be taxpayers. And indeed, for many, many years now, most immigrants, when they come here, get on welfare. Not remotely all, and a great many who get on welfare will get off of it. But initially, most immigrants to this country now get on some kind of welfare.
It's a real problem, isn't it, Dr. Young, with people migrating to our country and not assimilating?
That's true. I mean, now look what happened just last week in Dearborn, Michigan. Mm-hmm. Surprise, surprise. Yep. I mean, Dearborn, Michigan is a largely radical Muslim enclave. It's where there's an enormous Somali Muslim immigrant population has settled. And the mayor of Dearborn told a citizen at a town hall meeting, and this citizen was merely questioning the wisdom of having loud Muslim calls to prayer. And this mayor said that he was not welcome in his own community.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just shocking.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of communities in this country that now want Sharia Muslim law. And of course, this is happening in parts of Western Europe where they have had uncontrolled immigration.
Do you see any opportunity with Trump's, with his intense efforts in closing the border and immigration stuff? Do you see any effort to reshape that immigration law to get it back to where it was?
I'm not aware of legislation to reduce the annual quota of immigrants to this country. And let's keep in mind, we are allowing 1 million plus legal immigrants into this country each year. That's not counting the tens of millions of illegal aliens who have broken into the country. Trump has made an enormous difference in basically sealing the borders, dramatically reducing the number of illegal immigrants coming into this country. But in terms of legislation to reduce or scale back or toughen the requirements for people immigrating into this country, I'm just not aware of any bills to do that. There may well be some, but if there are, I'm not aware of a major effort underway. I think that would be an effort that would be supported by a great many Americans.
But how many Americans understood that census counts counted people, both legal, illegal, and that also affected the power, the standard of power in the House?
Sure. And
I mean, when did that happen?
Well, it's been going on a long time. And to be fair, I think a lot of Democratic and Republican elected officials want illegal aliens to be counted in their state so that they can have more congressional districts.
Mm-hmm. Still not a good idea.
I agree. Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, the Founding Fathers, I think, wanted citizens to be counted, period.
We've got another take. Do I have time for my second take, executive or extraordinary producer? Here's what Charlie Kirk said about what you can do for America.
If you care about this country, love it enough to get involved in the process and how we govern it. That is the only way we are going to save the United States of America, and that is perhaps the greatest contribution that you can make to Charlie Kirk's legacy is getting involved in saving this country. I'm in the fight, and I know every single one of you are with me.
That was a very interesting comment, because almost as if he was on the political stump,
right,
getting ready for number 48. Perhaps.
Right, in 2028.
In 2028.
I so envy how well-spoken Vice President Vance is. I mean, you notice he never says,
right,
well, which whenever I hear a recording of me on the radio, I cringe at every utterance of But Vance, when he answered that young lady's question, like Charlie Kirk, he was so articulate, he was polite and respectful, he was witty, he had a sense of humor.
Well, we may come back and talk some more about it. That's a great event with J.D. Vance at Turning Point USA. All right, we got about 30 more minutes to go on this show's edition. Tom Smiley filling in for Martha with Dr. Douglas Young. We'll be right back.
Chances are that you remembered the Brady Bunch. If you didn't see it in the 70s, it's still on the air somewhere today. It was a nice, tidy sitcom about a blended family, but they never had a wacky adventure that involved Mike and Carol's estate planning. This is elder law and estate planning attorney Kevin Thorpe, and I can show you how to make the perfect plan for your blended family. Log on to kevinthorpe.com today. It's much more than a hunch. That's kevinthorpe.com.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This month, Pure Talk is supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat vets struggling with PTSD. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. Sure, I like the unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and you will too. But you will love being in business with a company that shares your values. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Tune in to 2 hours of local football fun with the Pick'em Show, coach interviews, game previews, and general mayhem. So join Bo, Caleb, Jeff, and Walker Thursday nights at 6 on AM 550 and FM 102.9, or video stream them on YouTube at Access WDUN Sports. WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 10:30.
Fox News, I'm CJ Papa. Plenty of questions from the Trump administration after 2 rulings on using federal money to cover the cost of groceries for some Americans as the shutdown drags on.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent believes that there could be some SNAP benefits that are paid actually this week. Now, one of the judge's orders to divert money from a smaller fund, which would not cover everything. So everyone in the cabinet trying to figure out how to make it happen while Democrats refuse to vote for a clean continuing resolution.
Fox Business' Edward Lawrence at the White House. The shutdown also creating plenty of turbulence for air travelers facing flight delays.
As the day kicks off, we expect those numbers, unfortunately, to get higher. So this weekend, the FAA said there was staffing shortages at half of their busiest facilities. Nearly 80% of air controllers were missing from New York area facilities.
That's Fox's Brooke Tiller at the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow, and 2 people are dead following an apparent murder-suicide Saturday in Flowery Branch. More from WDUN's Brian Perkle.
Hall County deputies were called to a home on Bushnell Court just after 3 p.m. Saturday to find a 50-year-old woman dead with multiple gunshot wounds. They also found a 51-year-old man dead in a different part of the home. According to the initial investigation, the man shot and killed the woman, then turned the gun on himself. A 9-year-old child was inside the home at the time of the shooting, but was physically unharmed.
And high school seniors now can apply for educational institutions for free in November through Georgia. GNN's Rebecca Hughes with more.
The Georgia Student Finance Commission has partnered with various educational institutions in Georgia to offer application fee waivers to high school seniors during Apply to College Month in November. Over 60 colleges and universities in Georgia are participating in the initiative, allowing students to apply for multiple schools without incurring application fees. Governor Kemp says the state is committed to providing quality education opportunities for Georgia students. Students can access the application fee waivers through the Georgia Match Direct Admissions dashboard and find more information on participating schools at gafutures.org.
And there's more news online at Access WDUN. Now here's your Access WDUN weather forecast.
Good Monday morning, North Georgia. Mostly sunny skies. What a way to kick off the new week. We're in the middle 60s for highs this afternoon. Mostly clear skies right on into the evening. 42 the low tomorrow morning. From the Access WDUN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
In Lawrenceville and Talmo, 47 degrees. In Gainesville, 46. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Have you ever been at your wit's end over conflict? Hi, this is Whit Martin, pastor of Asbury Chapel. You may have heard it said, misery loves company. But what if we were able to leave misery alone and join company that brings joy and peace? I'm talking about company that is family, the family of God. The Bible says in Matthew 5:9, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God." God's children make peace by first introducing others to God, the Father of this joyful family called the church, and then by bringing peace to those around them. Just as God made peace with sinners so that they can know and have salvation, so God's children are about the same business. What a world this can be if we will be about the business of making peace. And that is Wits End. Asbury Chapel invites you to learn more by joining us for worship at 758 Main Street on Sundays at 10 a.m. Visit asburychapel.net for more.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical, from the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
All right, welcome back to the Martha Zoller Show. I am having a blast, personally speaking. I mean, I'm just talking for myself. I hope you are too. I've got Dr. Douglas Young with me today. He's been a wonderful resource. He's going to be back with me on Friday. So look forward to him coming back on Friday. Logan, the extraordinary producer, was shaking his head about something else, and I thought he was shaking his head about that, but now I'm on the same page.
Oh, we're going to bring Dr. Young back on Friday. You're always welcome here, sir. Come on.
Thank you so much. What did management say to you when you went out of the room? But anyway, Dr. Young is going to be with me on Friday. We'll give you some analysis of the election tomorrow. And going to talk a lot tomorrow about New Jersey and Virginia and New York. We'll talk specifically about that. I want to say a word just real quick, Dr. Young, about something that J.D. Vance said at the Turning Point USA event. I want to get your take on it. He said, and this was almost an exact quote, he said, if we cannot not do what we should because of being afraid of what the left will do,
right? Because
the left is already doing it. And I think many times some conservatives are afraid to do some things or say some things because of what they're afraid the leftists will do. But they're going to do it anyway, aren't they?
My guru, Dennis Prager, has said many times that more Americans are afraid of the left than they are of God.
Mm.
And
that's a really big statement.
I think that because our popular culture, our dominant media culture are so dominated by leftists now, it does take real courage to stand up to the educational industrial complex, to the political culture in so many parts of this country, to the media culture, to the popular culture. I mean, but ultimately, if someone is only going to stand tall for what he thinks is right, if it's popular, that person doesn't have any real courage. And that person, in my opinion, does not truly care that much about his principles.
Now, you said something, and off the air, folks, I wish we could record off the air conversation in between the breaks because we really get into some deep stuff. But you were talking about some of your thoughts and opinions about this kind of almost secular evangelism that's taking place by some of these teachers and administrators in the public and state school settings, private school settings too, where many of them, because they don't have a sense of personal moral compass when it comes to religious personal values, they let other things fill that void. And many times those other things are some of these radical ideologies.
Right. It's so...
Did you see it? Did you see it in your career?
Oh, sure. And I think the root of it is that for many, many decades now, but especially this century, we are seeing an absolute collapse in religious faith, I'm sorry to say. Now, lately, there have been some reports that more young people are going to church. Great. But if you when I look at the data, the share of Americans who are now known as nones, they don't subscribe to any particular religion, they're not part of any religious faith, that percentage of Americans has just skyrocketed over the last 25 years, especially among young people. And I believe that we're all hardwired to be religious. And if you take away someone's religious faith, there's a spiritual hole there that's got to be filled with something. And I think for some people, they become workaholics. For other people, they become sports fanatics. For a lot of people, they become political activists. I think for so many seculars, for so many atheists, their new religion is politics. And their new faith or theology is their political ideology. Yeah. And their new church is their political party.
And their sacrament is abortion.
That's right. Ann Coulter, I think, was the first to say that. I think she was right.
Yep.
And absolutely, in our vast educational industrial complex, from kindergarten through graduate school, there is a very large share of educators, of teachers, professors, and administrators who are secular evangelists. They are fanatical atheists and leftists, and they see the lectern in a classroom as their pulpit.
That's exactly right.
They are evangelists for leftism, which Dennis Prager says has been the most dynamic religion for the last 100, 120 years.
Well, and this is why it's so important. You know, we have elections coming up tomorrow, and you have some school board elections today. Tomorrow in our own county, in our own city. You better be careful who you put on these school boards and the persons you put in these positions of authority to hire teachers.
Exactly.
I mean, and like you said earlier, not to begrudge PE coaches. I love PE coaches. I wanted to be a PE coach. But, I mean, you just don't take a PE coach and put him in a spot because you need a coach. You need a dedicated teacher in that spot, you know.
And to be fair, I don't mean to knock PE coaches at all. I am in no way qualified to teach PE. But I would never have the chutzpah to get out of my lane and dare to pretend that I have any qualifications to teach PE. I'm just saying that if you don't have a degree in history, if you didn't even major, even minor in history, you have no business teaching history.
And we have, part of what you're talking about, this religious or the secular evangelism, it really played out with the audio the video that went viral of this teacher in the streets during the No King Parade, dancing and imitating and mocking the killing of Charlie Kirk,
right?
Putting her finger to her neck like him getting shot. And they showed that over and over, only to find out she's a 6th grade school teacher.
What does it say about our popular culture or the local political and social culture where that teacher lives and works, that she felt comfortable enough doing that in public, knowing she was being filmed? And indeed, in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination, there were many teachers, there were many people who were openly celebrating that. Now, granted, the vast 95+% of teachers would never do that. And I want to stress, there are so many wonderful teachers. My daddy was a professor. My mama was a teacher. I was a professor. And I can tell you, having taught for 21 and a half years at the University of North Georgia Gainesville campus, there are many superb professors on the UNG Gainesville campus.
What does that kind of thing say about a teacher's non-biased presentations? I mean, you've always told me from the day I met you, you always told me that you tried your best to present both sides. You tried your best not to brainwash one side or the other. What does this say to you when you have, I mean, you think the teacher mocking the killing of Charlie Kirk is going to, at the same time in her classroom, talk about the pros and cons and the good and the bad of Charlie Kirk?
I'd be really surprised. I mean, I tried so hard, and I'm sure I failed many times, but I tried very hard to present my students with the broadest possible spectrum of opinions, from the far left to the far right on every issue. And I would not take a position. I would play devil's advocate. If most people were arguing a liberal position on abortion, I would play Mr. Conservative, or vice versa. To me, it's an abuse of power for the teacher or the professor to put his thumb on the scale and to try to dominate discussion, to dare tell students this is the way you should think. That's like communist or Nazi indoctrination. That's propaganda. We should teach young people how to think critically, not what to think.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. My son Tyler, who happens to be a pastor, has a gift of critical thinking. I mean, he can see an issue and give it critical thought, critical contemplation. It's amazing to me how he does that. All right, well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want you to listen to some audio of, it's about a minute and a half long, of one of these No King protesters, not even knowing what they're protesting. So just get that in your mind, and we'll listen to that when we come back. You're listening to The Martha Zoller Show. I am Tom Smiley.
Todd Starnes.
But if you want to talk about problems, talk about Joe Biden, who literally funded Iran's nuclear program.
It's the Todd Starnes Show, weekdays noon till 3 on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Magical Nights of Lights has returned to Lanier Islands Resort. The spirit of the holidays shines brighter than ever as you drive through 6 miles of twinkling displays where toy soldiers march, Santa tailgates in style, and pickleball elves play. Visit holiday headquarters inside Game Changer featuring Clark's Pop-Up Bar or Licensed to Chill Snow Island with ice skating and snow tubing. The lights are glowing. The magic is calling. Your holiday tradition begins at Magical Nights of Lights at Lanier Islands Resort. Visit LanierIslands.com for reservations.
Does your office technology slow your team down? Nothing is more frustrating than printers that jam, copiers that won't connect, and service providers that don't follow through. You and your team deserve technology that works. I'm Matt Nick, president of Duplicating Products, and for over 50 years, we've helped North Georgia offices eliminate bottlenecks, reduce downtime, and get reliable support for office technology. Our promise, we do what we say we will do. If you're tired of office equipment headaches, it's time for a change. Visit us today at duplicatingproducts.com.
Innovation at Jackson EMC.
To me, innovation is taking technology and doing something new with it.
I'm working with a global company. We're helping them be able to reduce their carbon footprint through some of our programs.
Here at Jackson EMC, we embrace innovation, such as solar power, electric vehicle programs, energy-efficient right choice homes. Jackson EMC, innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow.
Friends, we need your help. As I'm sure you've heard, SNAP benefits, the lifeline for thousands of seniors, children, and disabled individuals, won't be deposited this November. Georgia Mountain Food Bank and our pantry partners are bracing for a surge in emergency need, but we can't do it alone. Our shelves are low, and your gift will go straight to feeding neighbors in crisis. Thanks to Cook Law Group, your donation can be doubled up to $25,000. Visit gmfb.org today. Together, we can keep our community fed.
This fall, give your lawn and food plots the winning edge with Limelight Pro. Now at Farmers Exchange in Cleveland. Limelight Pro is a premium, fast-acting pelletized lime that helps balance soil pH, unlock nutrients, and boost plant growth. Easy to spread, quick to work, and perfect for a fall application. Whether growing grass, gardens, or game plots, get the results you want with Limelight Pro. Farmers Exchange, your hometown partner for a stronger, greener season.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, a Gainesville school has been selected to participate in a new program that brings Disney musicals to public schools. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
Use the Access WDUN Talk and Text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
I have a good friend who just texted me, Dr. Young. This is so funny. I love this man. Rudy is so smart. But my good friend Rudy said, speaking of you, speaking of Dr. Douglas Young, okay. Professor Emeritus.
Shields up.
Rudy said, if I ever need a brain transplant, I'd want his.
Wow. You don't want my brain. But thank you. That's very sweet. Yeah. Thank you.
He's a great man. All right. Here is the No Kings protest.
Right.
By the way, one of Trump's gifts when he was over on the Asian tour, I think it was South Korea,
right,
gave him a gold crown.
Right. What timing?
I am shocked that he didn't put it on. Just shocked. But, it is against presidential preference. I mean, look at like Mike Dukakis, Barack Obama. They looked pretty doofus when they put on some of the hats and caricatures that they did. So I think Trump had more sense than that. But I mean, wouldn't it have been nice if Trump had put on that gold the No Kings movement? It's just a bunch of nothing, isn't it?
If President Trump was truly an absolute monarch, if he was a real powerful king, he wouldn't have allowed any No Kings protests. If he was really an almighty king, he would not have allowed the government to shut down. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I want you to listen, ladies and gentlemen. This is some audio I pulled out. This is an individual who is talking about the reason that she is protesting and what she's protesting, etc. But she makes a comment that really burnt me up, and I'll wait and let you see if you can pick out what was actually said that I took real offense to. But listen to this doofus.
Because we have to show that we're unsatisfied with the current situation, and if we don't collectively do that as a group in the way that our country has previously said protest to get the message out, then we just give up. We just might as well bend over. ICE is a really big concern in the way they're treating people. The obliteration of a lot of federal programs that help people, and the obliteration of federal jobs, the potential. Like I'm married to a woman, and in a year that might not be valid anymore, and that's.
And I'm here standing up for the Constitution we all believe in, the America we love, and that America is not a country ruled by a king. That's what we're here for. We love America.
I feel like a president should work for all, and I don't feel represented right now. I don't think that he works for those who agree with him on the issues. And in the past, it has always been a way forward to work together. And I believe that, I can see that Trump is not willing to do that.
So here's what irritated me about that whole montage is for the individual to say, the reason we're out here doing all this protesting and so forth and so on is because I don't feel represented. Well, can I just tell you that during the 8 years of Obama and the 4 years of Biden, Tom Smiley didn't feel represented either. I mean, I did not feel represented, but I had a job.
Right.
And I had a family.
You had a life.
And I had a life. And these people have no idea why they're protesting. I mean, they're talking about protesting against ICE. They're talking about federal programs. What federal programs? USA Aid? I mean, what federal programs are you concerned about?
ICE is enforcing the law.
It's the immigration law. And then federal jobs? Are we obliged to give people federal jobs? Is that part of the Constitution that you have a right to a federal job? There ought to be fewer federal jobs, in my opinion.
I love it when people say, "Oh, don't worry, the federal government shutdown will only suspend jobs that are not essential. We simply, all essential personnel will still be, at the workplace." Well, why do we have any federal jobs that are non-essential? I mean, and what's ironic is that by Democrats shutting down the government, they are giving President Trump and his administration a lot more power to try to permanently get rid of some of these jobs that are non-essential, that are not needed.
Well, extraordinary producer, if you can, on one of my audio sites, I sent you a clip that talks about the. Let me see if I can find it about the illegal alien. The illegal alien immigration voting, registered state voter rolls. How there are many illegals on the state voter rolls. I believe it was in Texas. I'm not sure. But if you can find that audio, just give me a thumbs up in a moment, because I do want to talk about that, because for such a long time, we have heard, there's nothing to illegals voting. I mean, it's not happening. Now, I can tell you it's not happening in Hall County, because when I was the chairman of the Board of Elections in Hall County, we have a tremendous director, Lori Wirtz, and we have a tremendous staff, and they kept the nose to the grindstone, and there were not unauthorized people on our voting rolls voting.
Thank you.
I can tell you that. But now what other states are doing, I can't tell you. But listen to this audio clip about this, and this is certainly not what the Founding Fathers had in mind.
Boost election integrity as the DOJ opens a nationwide investigation into voter rolls. The department is calling on local officials to identify felons, dead voters, and also non-citizens who might have cast a ballot. David Spunt is live from Washington with more on this one. Hi, David.
Hi, Aisha. Good morning. Today, next week, the week after, and so on, DOJ officials will continue to work on what they call the department a serious problem with our voter rolls. This all stems from a March executive order signed by President Trump, which states in part the Attorney General shall, consistent with applicable laws, coordinate with state attorneys general to assist with state-level review and prosecution of aliens unlawfully registered to vote or casting votes. Attorney General Pam Bondi has directed her team to check counties across the United States. But California is a big focus, as is Texas and Minnesota. The DOJ plans to prosecute any foreign nationals that get caught voting. A DOJ source tells Fox News election integrity starts with clean voter rolls. That's the foundation for secure elections. There's been a culture of noncompliance from several states that don't keep their rolls updated. This DOJ is cracking down. Now, the Justice Department wants local officials to identify and remove felons, dead voters, non-residents, and non-citizens from voter rolls. Recently, the department charged an Iraqi man for illegal voting in 2020 in the state of New York. Took several years to catch that one. Last year, a 19-year-old Chinese national was charged in Michigan with perjury and attempting to vote illegally in the 2024 election. Now, Aisha, the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, took a big hand in stopping illegal voting. Even though Elon Musk no longer with that agency, DOGE itself still has a hand in this movement. Finding illegal voters will take time, but the Justice Department is in regular contact with the White House about the latest progress fulfilling this executive order.
So it all boils down to the integrity of the local election authorities.
Right.
I mean, what we do in Hall County for Hall County is one thing, but I have no control over what they do in downtown Chicago.
Sure.
Or in California.
And there have been so many news reports for years and years documenting how there have been many cases of illegal aliens voting or attempting to vote. And in San Francisco and in at least one county in Maryland, local Democrats have allowed non-citizens to vote in local school board elections, have allowed them to legally vote in local school board elections. Non-citizens.
This comes back to that common sense theme, which I think President Trump has been so brilliant setting up. I mean, everything that the Democrats are railing against, they're on the wrong side of the issue, the 80-20 issue. I mean, he really suckered them into some of these. I mean, I'm wondering what would have happened if the Democrats had come up and said, you know what, you're right. Men don't need to be in women's sports.
Right.
You know what, you're right. We need a ballroom. We shouldn't have dignitaries from other countries using outhouses at our state dinners. Well, I mean, why can't the Democrats just be on the side of common sense?
I think it's cancel culture. There is very little tolerance on the left. The AOCs, the Ayanna Presleys, the Rashida Tlaibs, the people who are driving the Democratic Party today do not tolerate dissent. And you've talked earlier about how Chuck Schumer is so scared of Sandy Cortez primarying him next year.
Yeah.
And that's true all over the country. Remember, the donor class of Democrats is very left-wing.
Well, good job today, Doctor. I'm giving you an A+ for your assignment and your commentary.
Well, many thanks.
And you will be back with me on Friday.
I'd be honored.
And we'll talk about some other things. All right, I'm Tom Smiley filling in for Martha Zoller. Great job, Logan. Thank you.